using the Falcon Eyes F7. Now, this video is about low light cinematography, but before we break down, how I made this short film and how I lit every single scene, I want to specifically talk to you guys about this incredible product. All right, y'all. So this is the Pocket Light Falcon Eyes F7. Now, this is a LED RGB light, meaning it does the full spectrum for RGB color, guys. I mean, we get red, blue, green, purple. It's incredible, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on real quick for you. What's really cool about this is you can go from literally 0 to 100 level brightness, which is awesome. Another thing I love about this light is you can literally go from 2500 Kelvin to 9,000, guys. You can literally do anything with tungsten and daylight balance. Another thing I really love about this light is you can set different hues. Again, guys, the full RGB spectrum here. So we can do red, we can do green, we can do yellow, etc. Taking that even further, my favorite part about this light, makes this so handy on set, is the fact that this thing comes with 18 different special effects scenes. Let me show you what I mean. So we've got cop car, got ambulance, fire truck, lightning, another version of lightning, HSI simulator, same thing, fake TV, candlelight, paparazzi, flashing, high beam, low beam. I mean, I'm not gonna keep playing with all these scenes, but you guys get the idea. I mean, it's just incredible. So having this on set, being able to just throw this, oh yeah, and that's another thing, is it comes with a thread on the bottom, so not only that, but 2 attachments. So we've got a hot shoe mount here attachment, which you can easily screw into this and then put on your hot shoe mount or right on top of your camera. Or you've got this great little adapter here. So if you've got a camera cage, so using this, I can use this thread into my small HD and I can throw this light right on top. It's perfect for shooting weddings or a run and gun style music video. Just can do a lot of options, gives you a lot of options, a lot of versatility. Get all of these goodies. So, bam, first and foremost, charger, USB to C. So this is just, I mean, it's super updated, easy to charge. You can literally find like any outlet format for this. Battery life is pretty solid. I find this with full power, if I leave it on the entire time, I'm getting maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours out of it, which at 90 to 100% is really, really cool. I find that pretty profound, actually, especially compared to like my ALM9. I mean, that thing lasts for maybe 30 minutes, maybe 40. And again, guys, not only that, but we get a pocket light carrying case with it. Additionally, it even comes with its own honeycomb grid and diffusion, which I used a ton in this low light cinematography cinematic sequence I shot. So those elements just came super in handy. It makes this a much more practical device. These devices are great, but usually I only recommend them for beginners because why? They're just super hard light. Not a lot you can do with this with really controlling the light and using it the way you specifically want to. Making the light work for you, not you work for the light. Now with this honeycomb grid and the diffusion, and being able to take this from 0 to 100, or add on top of that, having the RGB color spectrum, and going from full tungsten to full daylight, this thing is amazing. Now, if you can't afford an Aperture 120D, or like you just can't afford, spending $500, $600 plus on lighting gear, well then I highly recommend this. Guys, this was $149. Absolutely incredible buy. I loved it so much, I had to pick up 2. So now I have 2 of these Falcon Eyes. That is what I use to shoot my whole cinematic sequence. It's just an incredible light, guys. I believe it's 12 watt, 4000 lux. CRI is 97. CRI is 97. So again, guys, just a very accurate, beautiful, affordable, small light. Again, this is a pocket light, guys. I don't know if you can really fit this specifically in your pocket. You might need like a bigger pocket, like, I don't know, back pocket of some jeans. But this is a quality light, guys. It maybe weighs about a pound, maybe a little bit more. Again, well worth the money. Absolutely love this. But without further ado, let's break down this cinematic sequence.
All right, guys, so this right here is the first shot, the waking up. This is me waking up from a nightmare. So as you can see here, you know, I've got sweat glistening on my face. I did that by adding utilizing a nice spray bottle, just spraying some quick couple sprays on my face to amplify, you know, this effect of me having this horrific nightmare and terrible dreams that have me, you know, kind of shaking in my sleep and abruptly, you know, then waking up from this thunder and lightning storm. Now, as for the lighting setup, you know, how we achieve this, first and foremost, let's talk camera specs. So using the 5D Mark IV with a shotgun mic with a dead cat on top of that, we did aperture f2.8. The ISO was almost 1600 the entire time, so pretty happy with that, only having to go to 1600 with using these two Falcon Eyes f7 pocket lights. And then the frame rate was 24 and shutter was 50. Everything stayed the same. I did have to change the ISO to 3200 for the bathroom scene. But that is really it, guys. But let's go ahead and dive into lighting setup. So as you can see here, we've got a C-stand with one of the Falcon Eyes with a blue hue effect going on. So that's to kind of create, this is our main key light, creating the main image look and effect for this film. And then I just have another one on a lighting stand here, and this is set to a daylight balance, and this again is just kind of bouncing off the wall as well as my ceiling a tiny bit, spilling into the room and just kind of filling up the space a little bit. Now as we move here to our next shot, we're talking about our overhead sequence here. For that specific shot, our lighting setup was coloring, you know, still the same, but setup wise a bit different. So we're still using this blue hued light, that is our main key light, and again we are using the other light just with some daylight balance to fill and spill in the room. Now this key light here, as you can see, is sitting right on top of the C-stand, right with my camera. I just used some simple gaff tape and taped it up right to the C-stand to hold it in place, so we're getting this nice blue light shining down. Moving on to the next shot. So this next shot, the wide angle of me kind of getting up from bed, the lighting setup for this one was pretty similar, but again, we changed it up a bit. So as you can see on the C-stand, we still have this blue light, blue hued pocket light, and that is pointing towards the side at a slight angle. The reason I did that is I wanted to kind of flag it a little bit from my door. My door's white, so I didn't want it bouncing too much off that white. So kind of just turning it away so I wasn't getting any bounce off that white wall. And again, then this is kind of creating this nice split light effect right on my face here, as you can see me getting up. Now the other light, what we did with the other light is, wouldn't recommend this, I'd rig this up properly, but I was in a bit of a rush. But anyways, what we did with this other light is I threw it on top of the light stand and had it pointing directly straight up and bouncing off my ceiling because my ceiling is white. So again, just bouncing off that, giving a good top-down light look, and just kind of, again, filling and spilling throughout the entire room. Now moving to the next shot, this is the shot of my feet hitting the floor. So in this shot, lighting setup that we did for the feet hitting the floor is camera is sitting on the ground, and our lighting setup is again the C-stand with the blue hued light still for our key. Now all we did is kind of lower that down to a lower angle, so again, you know, it's really hitting more level with the feet. And again, as you can see, we're getting this cool split light effect. Everything kind of off here on this side is all in darkened shadows, and we see this kind of getting the main light. So again, kind of this cool split light effect. Again, we're staying with this cool blue, unsettling, uneasy feeling. And that is the only one, or excuse me, that's not the only one we used. We had that at the side, and again, we had the other light just still pointing towards the top for some nice fill and spill in the room. So this next shot here, me walking up to the blinds, you know, I've got this obscure light going on. So for this whole sequence here, what we did is, again, we've got our blue hued light on a C-stand. I brought it over closer to the window and I have it pointing directly at my ceiling. So this is gonna bounce off the white wall of the ceiling and fill and spill into the room. And this will cause a nice, cool, blue hued top-down effect. That set our main look for the room, and then we use the other pocket light and put that with a special effect, the lightning special effect, and put that in my window. And so that's kind of creating this flashing light effect, acting as this lightning that's leading me to the blinds. Again, the camera is kind of slightly at an angle, but pretty much directionally right behind me. Now moving to the next shot. This was all done the exact same way, me peering through the blinds from the side angle. The only thing and only difference is we move the camera and we kind of put that in the corner off frame here. Clearly, camera can't be in frame. But again, the blue light is just creating that top-down look by bouncing off the top. And this time the only difference is we just turn the pocket light off that was in here, so it's no longer on. Moving to the shot from behind, same thing, the exact same lighting setup. Camera's just moved directly right behind me. Now for the bathroom, the light switch. So for this light switch scene here, what we did is we used a red hue and a yellow hue. So I put the light that was on the C-stand, the pocket light on the C-stand, I switched that hue to red, and then I used the other pocket light and put that hue to yellow. So we're getting this complementary colors of red and yellow, but this very intense, unsettling, uneasy feeling being brought about by these mixture of colors mixed with this ugly green pattern bathroom I have at my house, just super old school. And so it has this very unsettling feeling by adding in those colors. That red really adds that intensity, and the yellow just feels ugh, and again, unsettling. So again, guys, everything here is being done intentionally. So just keeping that in mind. Speaking of intentionally, look at the next shot. So not only do we have the red and the yellow, but we have that bouncing off these walls, adding in some green as well. So we've got this ugly ass mixture of colors. We've got poor lighting, but again, it's done intentionally with purpose. So again, we switched up for this shot here. We have the light coming for a top down. So we have the red pointing directionally straight down, no longer bouncing and filling the room, but pointing straight down for this ugly and intense red light and top down look, causing these dark shadow raccoon eyes. Now we're using the yellow and bouncing that off the ceiling. That's filling the room / kind of mixing with this green patterned wall. And then we get, as you can see, mixed in these shadows and mid-range here, we've got this greenish yellow look. So it's just like a very off-putting and uneasy feeling that's getting kind of provoked. Add on top of that I have it at this very, very off-kilter angle, it really, really amplifies the effect that the viewer is experiencing watching this sequence here. So me right at the sink. This is essentially the same thing. The only difference is I moved the pocket light with the yellow hue closer towards the mirror, so it was getting better, just giving us more light right at the sink rather than kind of like having to fill the whole bathroom for like that last shot. So just moving it closer. And additionally, what I did is I took the diffusion off. So I still have the honeycomb grid on this one, which is helping us control the light so it's not spilling everywhere, but I took the diffusion off. So again, we're just getting a little bit more of that intense light going on in here. So what we did for this sequence here is we put a red light right in the corner, right by where my head is, right off out of frame, and it's pointing straight up. I took the diffusion off of that. It still has the honeycomb grid on, but took the diffusion off. So again, it's able to add in more brightness and just really fill this room up. So we have it bouncing off the ceiling so it can kind of better fill this room, because we're off in the closet, as you can see here, is the other pocket light. And so that is kind of creating this radiating and glowing effect that's going on in the closet. I'm using this special effect. And so we have that going on in there. And so that was really our lighting setup for this scene here. Additionally, you know, I just want to mention that the reason I didn't use any other light in my room or add, well, one, you know, I'm trying to show how you can do this with just these 2 lights, and just how effective these lights are. But, you know, I could have added some more light into my room to kind of make it more seeable, I guess, if you will. But, you know, again, done intentionally. So I wanted me to get lost. See how I get lost in the shadows right at the end there. And so, again, it just creates this very uneasy and scary feeling. It makes it really feel to the viewer, you know, like intense, and that there's this, you know, this disappearing act that kind of happened. And again, it just kind of adds and amplifies the intensity of this short little film here. Looking at the next shot, for this shot here, again, we have the pocket light with the kind of radiating glowing effect in the closet. Now what I just did is crack the closet. I have kind of these 4-panel doors with my closet, and so I cracked both of them, so we have all these different kind of almost like rays of light splitting and coming out. And so I thought that was just like a really cool effect. And so again, as you see, we just let the glowing effect do its thing. Absolutely love these lights. Is such a cool effect. Being able to do this by myself and shoot this by myself is so awesome. One of the big reasons why I like these lights is you can do so many cool effects and stylized looks for your films and projects, and you can do them by yourself. But anyways, yeah, so we had the light in there and literally nothing out here in the room. Super dark. I crushed the blacks. So again, there is literally no other light source but that light. Again, I just want to create this really ominous feeling, like we have no idea what that light is, but we recognize the power of its source and that it is this amplified energy. And so now moving on to the next shot. So this shot right here, this shot is my hands reaching to the door frame or the doorknob, if you will, and kind of pulling it open. So in order to achieve this shot right here, what we did is we put obviously the camera on the tripod kind of in this kind of corner slot look. And then again, we have the pocket light in there creating this radiating glowing effect. And so I use this other pocket light, threw on the honeycomb grid and diffusion, pointed it directly straight up, and so this is causing just a nice bounce effect right off the ceiling slash wall, because my wall is gray, my ceiling's white, so pretty level and clean bounce there. And so that's just kind of filling the room a little bit and kind of just giving us this little bit of extra light, and yeah, just filling and giving us just this little bit of extra light out here so we can actually see my hand kind of grabbing and touching the door. But again, with this yellow hue set on it, it feels motivated. It feels like it's the light that's coming from the closet that is just so amplified in the next shot. So, you know, me kind of finding the almighty power source of light here. So obviously, again, we've got the light causing this nice radiating and glowing effect. And so for the lighting setup there, we have the light, the pocket light on the light stand. It's leaned up against the wall, so it's at a nice angle, and so it's hitting me right here in the face. It's at a good angle. It's not like flat straight at my chest or flat straight up towards the ceiling, but right at my face, angled right at me. And again, it's just causing this really cool glowing and radiating effect. Now we use the other light and have it right at the bottom, pointing straight up. That's on a tungsten balance, and so that's to just amplify and cause, makes it seem like, you know, there's even more light and this radiating effect coming from this single source. But I left it on tungsten with no special effects, so it's just glowing the entire time. So again, even when our special effect light is kind of at its lowest peak, it's still a really strong light source pointing right up at me. And so again, that mixed with just this hard light and these hard shadows here just makes it feel super intense, like it's this profound light source and again, you know, like ominous object or being or existence that I've discovered. And then finally, you know, we go to the last shot here. And so for the last shot, obviously, we've got the camera pointed from an angle over here, kind of level with my shoulder, straight down. And we're seeing, you know, nothing in frame essentially, but the hands kind of come into frame and the light source is just right out of frame. So this glow effect just really causes curiosity. You know, we're like, it just builds the intensity. We're like, what is that? We have to know. Ah, finally. Oh. the gods have come. So again, we have this just on, again, that special effect, glowing effect. And we're using the other light now. It's on the light stand and pointing at this wall here. So it's bouncing off, filling the closet a little bit and hitting back on my arms here just to kind of give a little more light, so we're not all kind of just surrounded in the shadows. We've got a little more kind of even light, and we've got this nice glow effect that seems not just coming from this light that it's glowing, but it's also just, again, radiating and filling the entire closet because it's so powerful. And yeah, guys, that's really, all our lighting setups and how we made this bad boy happen. Now, again, obviously there's a lot of other elements that go into it, like coloring it in post and then adding a ton of sound design. And so that really just kind of amplifies and makes these scenes, that much more intense, adding those other elements.
All right, y'all, that's it for this week's episode. This was low light cinematography with a pocket light. Hope you enjoyed. Hope this kind of expanded your knowledge, that you don't have to have all this big, badass, crazy gear. You can accomplish some incredible looks and make some killer films with just, we'll insert that there, with just a pocket light. If you enjoyed the video, I appreciate the likes. Drop a comment below with anything I should be talking about in the near future, maybe anything I missed, and I look forward to see y'all next week. I'm Kyle Loftus, and I'm out.